Okay, you guys can see that, right?
Yes. Yes, I could able to see. Hey Vin, I think this document you shared is I don't have permission to access it, but I don't think it's even there in Google Docs because I got this as an email. Maybe I can share that doc that I'm looking at to the group so that. Uh,
Yeah, no, I mean the reason you can't view it Prasanna is because it's on our internal wiki,
Makes
and
sense.
you don't have access to that wiki. But if you don't mind, I mean we'll just go through the bugs. Manu is here, and we'll probably just move from one to the next. We were just setting up, and and I hope you guys can see the screen that he's sharing.
Yes, yes, yes. I could see yours.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got it. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll just let him go through the bugs
Yes.
one by one, and then Prasanna and Win, you can compare with what you have.
Yeah. I think the first
Okay.
bug itself is on the login page. If you give semicolon, it crashes. That's what it says. Comma or semicolon along with the username.
Okay, so I think we probably can start with that. So it's maybe a semicolon or a period or something like that. So whenever you do that and then try and log in, obviously it will give you that information that the character is not allowed.
Correct.
So if you go back and remove that character, just a minute. So we do it in test. So you remove that. Yeah, so funny enough, right now I'm logging in.
So this fix we put in. So I'll give you a quick description of what we did was. So the losing was throwing exception for the invalid characters. Okay. So we did a put in a quick fix in the login page itself. What we do is we check for these special characters, and we do not even make the losing call if the special characters are available on the user, basically. So that's why you see a toast message which says invalid characters. You see that there's a toast message that comes in, right? So that's the fix that we put in last time. This should not crash technically, but since our usernames will not have these special characters, this is the fix that we put in.
Yeah, so what we did, Prasanna, is just in anticipation of something like this happening, we noted the exception that we were getting led to an IO exception, and the specific message was IO exception thrown while authentication. And I just want to quickly just send this over.
Sorry, Manu, I'm just missing something. So I saw the login working, right?
Yeah.
But you're saying there is an exception in the background, huh?
Yeah, you can see what just happened. So, Prasan, are you able to see when I include the space or space after the username, the app crashes?
So, but Manu,
So,
just now you tried doing it, right? But it was working now. I mean, I didn't get.
yeah, so the scenario here is sometimes you get it, sometimes you miss it. So like right now I'm typing admin and then there is a space.
So this is the
Line
exact
is-
exception that we fixed in. So my point is, this is the exact exception I was saying, right? This one we fixed it. It should not happen in the latest APK. If you're using latest APK, this should not be happening. But anyway, let me see whether is there any other possibility that we miss out.
Yeah, we downloaded the APK today at around 11. So,
But can we try it again now? Can we try it for another 2-3 times? Let's see whether it breaks or not now.
so you can see sometimes it crashes and then it again logs in. It's just that abnormality. So I'll try and log out. Then admin. And then after the admin, there is a space. And then test.
Maybe I'm not seeing your screen, Manu. I'm
No,
seeing
I think
someone.
your screen is not updating.
Yeah, or something like that.
No.
Okay, Manu, we are not checking for space. Maybe that might be breaking.
Yeah, I don't know why I was trying to
Yeah.
connect these.
We are checking only for special characters. We are checking only for special characters. So we are not. I'm checking
Yeah,
at the
no.
code. I'm not looking at the application, but I'm checking in the code. We are looking only for special characters. Maybe space might be a problem.
Okay, so probably maybe we should include a space on that or something like that.
Yeah, but commas, semicolon, all those things are been already looked on. Okay.
Yeah, we get that, Manu, and we also had a look, and we noticed that as well, which is why this is such an interesting bug. Because the thing is, the first time that you log in, okay, there isn't an issue. But the second time that you do, when you add in that special character, then you get that exception that I just pasted. And like I always get it. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. And we thought that if we could share the exception with you, it could make a bit more sense because you understand the code a bit more. So this is not something that happens all the time, and and when we looked at the code, it looked fine, and that's why we couldn't make sense out of that exception.
So Prasanna, are you saying that you look into including consideration for space instead of just special character?
Yeah, we are not looking. I'm looking at the code, Martin. So last time there was this bug, and Tibo fixed this bug. He is looking only for special characters.
Yeah.
He is not looking for space. If Manu has added a space at the end of it, yeah, I think still it might go ahead and fail. But I can't test it. But we are not checking for the space there.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll add that thing. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. But like the exception that Manu gave should not happen for special characters. That's what I'm still wondering how this exception for special characters came in.
Because I think when we were testing this, we actually tried out with a comma, right? No, was it a space? A space. That's what we tried with.
So I think the space that would give that exception, and ideally this is something that could easily happen to like community health workers as they as they type.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I can fix that one quickly. I take a note of that. That's not a problem.
Okay. So we'll move next. I don't know what happened to my screen, so I'm trying to hook it up to Regan's computer so that we can move to the next exception.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
So the next one I want to read first because it's quite a big one. I'll just tell you because there are some implications on that. So losing data from draft if the current other medication the pharmacist. Yeah, just give me in a minute. I'll quickly open other medications. CDM data.
Okay now.
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's shared.
No. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. So I think the next step probably is the relevant person. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes, you are currently on the
So
home page, right?
yeah, the landing page. So we do also have another exception that thought it would be good to look at. This is like for the logout crash,
Yeah.
and this only happens if probably you log into the app and then you go to clients.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to go to the clients, and we select one of the clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then go to forms. Then we go back, try and look at the observations. There's also one problem that we'll look at, but maybe later on, in that when you have a large cohort of like 100 patients and above, you don't get the cohorts downloaded. So if I go back,
okay.
Yeah, can we do one bug at a time, Manu?
yeah, yes. So if I come to the cohorts section and then refresh the cohorts, so from here, if I log out to the application and then try to relog in. So admin test. So just a minute. So what happens is if you try like 2-3 times, then even if you provide a valid username and password, the application won't log in.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Ah.
So,
No, just wait again. Clients. We have to do it a couple of times.
I think we need clients that have.
So what are you guys doing?
So we need a client that has observations. I think the current will just try and download, because when you go to clients and then look at the observations and then go back to the cohorts page, refresh all the cohorts. From that point, if you log out, then you are not able to log back in.
So Prasanna or Win, do you understand that bug? Maybe I'm a little bit slow.
But I have faced a couple of times previously, long back. Maybe Win can help me around. So there is a concept of locking of a user account, right? When you try to log in multiple times in OpenMRS. I've not exactly I have faced it, but some of the people in the team have faced it before. They go and clear something in the database, OpenMRS database, because it locks the account if you keep frequently logging in or something.
Yeah, I think they have like 3 times.
But I don't exactly know the scenario, but like.
Yeah. Well, should you? In this case, you're not even pinging the server, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this should all be local.
Yeah, those are all local, I think.
No, actually, Martin, whenever we have an internet connection, we go and check it in the server. So this is actually going to the server, the login call.
Yeah, but it will fall back when there's no internet, right, Prasanna?
Yeah, without internet, it will fall back.
Yeah.
But when we are having internet currently, right? So in that case, if server says it's logged or something, then we won't log in.
Oh, yeah.
If you switch off the internet and then try logging in, it will work.
Okay. So can we identify for sure that that's an OpenMRS issue? Or the other alternative, Manu, is could you test it when you're not connected to the internet?
Yeah, maybe we can try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe test it
So
out.
I just removed the instance that I had so that I can download the cohort that will give me observations, because that was how we were getting the bug, is when after filling the observations when you log in. So just give me a minute to do a fresh download.
Yeah, so just for the purposes of notes, to remember what we discussed, when putting a link there for the notes, can people actually kind of help, especially when it comes to describing the bug, just pasting it here, because I don't have the link where you guys shared the information on the bugs. So basically on the notes taking section, that link which when type notes.openmrs.org, mUzima bug call. Can somebody just put in those bugs as we discuss them? Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay.
So currently I'm in the observations tab, and so if I go back to the cohorts, refresh the list of cohorts, and then from here log out. We were getting the bug. Yeah, right now I think it's worked. it's not happening, so we'll just still try maybe at a later time to still see from other activities.
Yeah, Manu, I think
Was
it's
it?
good. It's good when next time it happens, just get the, I mean, do the standard error resolution, like copy the log output and then probably explain like the step you take when the bug happening.
Yeah, so the output, the exception is what I just pasted. There's a pastebin link that I posted up on chat, and that's the exception that we were getting. And you can see that the first line clearly states that it's an IO exception during authentication. So, and as Manu is saying, this is something that is hard to replicate. So we had to do it a couple of times to get that error. And you can see we had to go through a lot of activities. So we got this error severally. I mean, several enough for us to be concerned about it, but it's not something that came up all the time. But the sequence of activities we took is exactly what we are showing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the error, the actual exception win is on the chart. So if you open up that pastebin link, you'll see that exception.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, so let me ask another question. Suppose this error is related to some issues with OpenMRS setting, okay? And this is more of a high-level question for everyone here, mostly Prasanna and Win. So if the workflow when using a mobile device would dictate that you have to log off quite frequently, okay? Or basically, if you keep pinging up the server with login, log out, you're always going to get disconnected. Wouldn't it make sense potentially to disable some of that functionality? I'm just throwing it out there.
I think from the OpenMRS side, I think OpenMRS will block you if you attempt to log in using the same username more than 3 times and it keep on failing. I think it's 3 times, and then your account will be locked for like 15 minutes. But I think,
could I just ask a question about that to the group? So in this situation, Manu, you're saying you're using the right user ID and password, right?
Yes.
So that's not an issue.
Yeah, that's because once you successfully log in, this 3 times will be deleted, I think. So it will be reset to 0. So it's not an issue if you successfully log in with your username.
Yeah. So in this case, then Manu is actually logging the right username and password, presumably, and is getting the error. Is that correct? So Win, your answer actually is not addressing the issue.
Win, is there any condition of a concurrent login? Like if I log in using the same username password, like 5 times or something from different devices or something, will OpenMRS block or lock account? Because I've seen some locking happening in the server before. I don't know what exactly is. Maybe it's somebody else would have used a wrong password from some other device. That's because we always use admin and test. We don't use anything else. Since all the people in our team are using the same username password, that might be a possibility that might have been somebody would have used wrong password or something.
Yeah, I don't think there's that requirement, Prasanna.
Well, does the error, given that you have the pastebin there, does it tell you guys anything? I'm not a technical person.
No, actually the error actually says multiple access to the Solar database. I mean the losing database that we are having. So it closes the connection. But I don't see any scenario in this. So I'm thinking.
Prasanna.
Yeah.
Sorry, my understanding is that this exception message is probably somewhere within the code, right?
It's making the service call. If you see if you paste in the paste bin, tell you the line number. See line number 72. So the line number 72 is get by username, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, it actually makes a service call. The service call actually fails because of the service not available, which is actually internal service call. It's not like going outside. But I don't see a scenario for this happening, which I'm wondering. But maybe I'll check it out. But
Like, like I said, this is something that, I mean, I think we probably did about 20 or 30 tries in the morning, and out of those, about 10 of them resulted in this exception. So it's not something that you'll get, you won't get it all the time as you log in, but once in a while you'll get it. At least once every 4 or 5 logins you'll get it. And that's a little tricky because I imagine that a lot of the people who will be using this app will probably be logging out and logging in severally, perhaps even in one day.
Yeah. And this is a showstopper type of bug for an application, because basically people say this application keeps breaking, can't use it.
But one problem is I couldn't able to reproduce. I can't able to find out a scenario for this, right? That's why I'm stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, no, guys, the issue about multiple users using the same ID, is that even relevant anymore, given that it seems like the bug is actually something that's happening internally within a device? You're not making any other calls anywhere, right? Is that a correct understanding?
Yes. I would imagine that's a correct understanding, Martin, but I think Prasanna can probably clarify on that. But my understanding is everything is just, the call is authenticating against the device, right?
No, no, it won't authenticate against the device if you have internet. If you have internet, it always goes to the server. If that's that's what you're looking for, yes, it will always go to the internet if you have internet connection. You always try to fetch it from the server. If you do not have internet, yes, it will try to authenticate within the device.
Okay. Well, all the times that we were trying this out, we were connected to the internet. So I guess this exception is probably something that probably more likely to be reproduced on this connection to AMRS.
Well,
yeah, I think we can move on to the next one. We'll keep trying this. If we get a reliable way of reproducing it, we'll definitely send that to you.
Makes sense.
But for now, I think we can just move on to the next one.
Okay. I think we would probably look at the form, because we seem to be losing quite a significant amount of data when you save the form as draft.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've opened the CDM dispensary form.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there were two concerns with this form, in that there is a bit of skip logic that is missed when you reopen the form. So, for example, if you select the visit type, probably to weekend dispensary visit after PHCT, you can see the PHCT review section on the form is gone, and then on the section where you have it.
Can you go down slowly? I mean, I actually kind of, because there's a small lag in the side. So you chose something called.
Sorry?
Can you go down slowly? I mean, because I have a lag also. So whatever you're talking, and the screen is not syncing up. So just go down slightly slow.
Okay. So can you see the form? I've opened the dispensary form.
Yes.
The
yes.
HTML version.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And within the encounter details section.
Yes.
There is the part where you choose the visit type.
Yes, so I could see that.
Yeah. So there's normally like a PHCT review section after that part. So whenever you choose like secondary or the return dispensary visit, that section always is skipped.
It's a logic. I don't know about the exact logic that's there, but I can check the form. What should be the logic? Because
Yeah.
I thought I can see the form and can tell you the logic. What's there we have.
Uh-huh.
See, we have logic. We have a clear logic. Wait, I can even share my screen. We have a logic which says, "Do not show that section." I don't know who gave that logic, but do not show the section if it's anything else apart from.
Yeah, the logic is actually correct. It's only that when this form is saved as draft, so when you reopen the form, that logic is not applied. Prasanna?
Yeah. So you're saying when we choose secondary dispensary visit, the PHCT
Yeah.
section goes away. Correct?
Yes.
That is correct.
That is correct, and it's behaving the way it's supposed to. Only that when you save the form as draft, when you
Okay.
reopen the form,
Okay.
that logic is not applied.
Okay, got it, what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that may not happen, yeah.
Yeah. And then again, now as we go down, there's that section for your current medications. I hope you can see that.
Give me a minute. Give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that may not happen, sure. What's the next one?
The next one is on your current medication, the section where it carries your current medications.
Yeah.
Okay. So whenever you populate this section, you can choose like maybe metformin, and you give probably, I don't know, the milligrams, maybe just 25, and take them maybe every morning.
Yeah.
And you all the pills. So if I save this form as draft, let me just do that.
So this I actually
So I've saved the form.
Yeah, 1 minute. I think this issue I know. I have already had a discussion with Win. I don't know whether it's you again. So the problem here is the form has the same name or same concept name against all of these things. Okay, so it's not possible for form to populate. I can show you what exactly I'm telling. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
This we had a conversation of changing the concept name, but since we couldn't able to change the concept name, we had to go with this one.
Okay, so let me understand this, Prasanna. You are saying that if somebody were to make a selection on the current medications,
Yeah.
when they come back again, if they were to save that form as a draft and later on, like finish up with it, you're saying that once they save it as draft, when they get back to the form, they can't be able to see what they had initially selected.
So yeah, I'll give you a bit of a. I mean, I think let's all get into the same page. So this HTML form that we designed for CDM, this is the first of its kind, right? Like HTML version of it. So these are small things that we. It's all more of a logical error. For example, the first one that you mentioned, it's not hiding because on page load we are not calling that function to make sure we are not hiding, or it's a small additional to the JavaScript thing. And the second one, can you able to see my screen? Can you able to see the code now? Or
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
yeah. So here the second problem that you are mentioning now, right? Why it's not repopulating while on opening? If you see all the data concept of metformin, glibenclamide, enalapril, everything, right? Everything is exactly the same. Can you see it? the data concept.
Yeah.
I have highlighted it, right? So how we are pre-populating this information is based on the data. We save this data concept against all the values. Like for example, we save patient reported current other medical treatment, and we save it for the value. While trying to reopen it, there is no way this HTML will understand that this is first column or second column, third column, fourth column. So what we suggested was at that time to have a different data concept for different metformin should be different one, glibenclamide should be different one, enalapril should be different one, or something like that. So that's exactly the reason. If it finds multiple, are you guys with me? Like, or
Prasanna, let me just understand here.
yeah.
So you have questions. So this is a multi-select type of question, right? So the concept there that you're showing, like 19-something, is a medication prescribed is the question concept. And then each of the answers have their own concept and IDs with them, which are different, right? So for
no, yeah, sorry, Martin.
So metformin has its own concept. Enalapril has its own concept. Hydrochlorothiazide has its own concept. So it's just a multi-select question. I don't know if I'm missing something there, guys. So it's
That's
how
exactly.
you handle multi-select. The response is in a multi-select question.
So Martin, maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying. So what I'm saying is all these concepts are exactly the same. That's why you are facing this problem. If you have a different concept for metformin, glibenclamide.
Yeah, we do. We have different concepts for them. So what you're showing there, just go back to the form called the HTML form.
This is HTML I'm showing.
No, yeah, that one. So this screen here, right? So you see where you're saying data concept 1919 patient reported current other treatment for metformin, for glibenclamide, I can never say it, enalapril. Now those ones should have different concepts. I mean, each of those have different concepts. So I don't know if Manu or the others. It seems like to me we need to put in the right concept numbers there.
Mm-hmm.
Am I making sense?
I remember this issue. Yeah, exactly. I'm totally with you. I remember this issue. So this is totally a form designing problem, right? That's why I'm coming again. So the form design,
Yeah, we can actually just resolve it right now. You guys who have access to MRS, if you go to the concept dictionary right now and you search metformin and just say what's the concept number for metformin, it's going to be right there. I don't know if anybody on the Kenyan side can do that right now. Okay, it's not.
I think we can do what. My understanding, this is maybe I was thinking these are the concepts for the concept for the question patient reported other current medication. So I don't know exactly.
So again, Prasanna, does that make sense? What Manu is asking. So if there you want the concepts for the question, which is medications prescribed, then no, the 1919 concept is the right one. If under each of those you want the concept for the drug itself, each of those has a different concept.
Yeah. So
Prasanna, the question that Manu is asking is, do you want each of them to have a different concept number, which is the drug itself, in your code there, or do you want it to be, the concept for the question, medications prescribed?
So Martin, it will be really great to have a different concept for different every of these sections, right? Because using concept only, we are identifying, the page is identifying some set of values based on the concept. If all the concepts, if you have multiple concepts, the page gets confused. It doesn't know which to populate and it fails to populate. So that's exactly what's happening. So what I'm saying is, if we could able to go through this form, if we think this concept is wrong, if you could able to find the proper concept and change it, then this problem should not happen.
Yeah.
Why I'm saying this again is, I again remember this conversation we had a lot of times, because ThoughtWorks doesn't have any idea about how what are the contents of the form.
Yeah.
What we tried to do is we wrote JavaScript and HTML around it, just to make it working. So these are more of a domain context based things, and it will be great if Manu or someone could help us with a concept here and try to change this concept and get the page up and running.
Yeah, I think Manu's question actually, makes me a little bit concerned. And the reason why it makes me a little bit concerned is that I think we've spent time for the team in Kenya to understand what the different sections of the form actually do from a code standpoint, okay? So it seems like, basically Manu is like, well, it seems like this is supposed to be the question concept, but actually an understanding of what's supposed to be there seems to be quite important. Am I kind of, getting the gist of what Manu is asking in terms of, I essentially don't understand how the form is programmed?
Yeah, my question ideally was we would have a concept question and then a concept answer. So under like other medications, there are medications prescribed as a concept itself and then there are answers beneath it. So I'm wondering whether Prasanna wants the answers different or the question.
So Prasanna,
So
just
can you expand one of the section for that one?
Yes.
So I think this is like a grouping.
Yeah, this is not even a question. I can show you a sample payload maybe.
Yeah, so I think this is like a grouping. So under the grouping for 1919, there's a multiple question answer.
Do you see how this comes in? Can you see my screen again, like the JSON response?
Yeah.
I can't see a screen for some reason, Prasanna. Weird. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a grouping issue. I mean, if the problem is just differentiating, I don't see a problem with adding like some sort of count information. Like, for example, you can add like 1 and then 2 if that would help, because the process care about the first section and the second section out of this payload. Like what the processor care about is just 1919 and then patient reported current other treatment. After that, we just discard it because it's not useful in the processing. And I mean, because on this case you're returning a JSON array with this extra information to differentiate. We will get just a simple JSON grouping for this one. So you will get, I'm assuming we will get 1919 patient reported current other treatment, 99 DCT, and then 1. And then the next one is 1919 patient reported current other treatment, 99 DCT 2. For the number 1 is for metformin, and the other one is for the next grouping. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, whatever it is, what I'm saying is all we need is to have a different names for different group, right? Because if you have same name for all the groups, it's not going to populate.
Yeah. You guys.
And so, what's the suggested solution?
Just updating the form, adding extra information in that data concept to differentiate. I won't do something like that, Prasanna, because it's not going to match with the concept name, but I would rather to add like see my chat, like 1 at the end.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't see your chat. Okay, something like that, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is, I mean, he's saying to add, okay.
Yeah, like, and then the next one is going to be 2 for glibenclamide. Yeah.
First, you can get a medical degree in.
Yeah. And then 3 for enalapril. I think that would that help, Prasanna?
Yeah. So anything is going to help apart from having the same name, Ben. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yep. I think that should differentiate the name. So every time we have, because concept will be reused multiple times, but HTML doesn't understand if you have data concept, the same data concept, and then you're binding JSON to it, and then when you revert back, I think the JSON cannot be reassigned to that same concept because we're using the same name in the data concept.
Yeah,
So if we
exactly.
have, yeah, I hope that makes sense. So the next time, I think lesson learned from this one is when we're designing the form, put a different name in the grouping or in the question if we're reusing the same concept multiple times. Because the way it's processed is going to be the same because I don't care about the part after 99 DCT. But it's helpful for the HTML to understand that this is coming from different element in the HTML page.
Let me, okay.
Maybe just something that, because I looked at the form, the part that was a little bit confusing is if you look at the symptoms section, that is a multi-choice question. The same like maybe this other one for medication, and we are able to persist the values for the symptoms. So I don't know what, maybe if we could look at that, it could help, because the symptoms, if you save the form as draft and reopen it, you'd still have the values for that.
Yeah, I think the symptom is because we're binding one question with multiple answers.
Yeah.
So it's just one concept question, the symptom, and then we'll have a JSON array of the values. In this case, we have multiple, if we using the symptom analogy, we now have like a multiple symptom where inside this multiple symptom, we have multiple JSON array. So the HTML will be confused when they need to rebind the value back to the symptom. Which array should go to which symptoms? For that symptoms use case, it's just one symptoms with multiple answers. So HTML will easily bind the value back to that same question. Correct me if I'm wrong, Prasanna.
No, you're correct, Vin, and we are doing it purposefully. I mean, it's not like HTML is confusing. HTML can do something like pick up the first element and populate it, but I do not want to do that because this is the conservative approach, because we shouldn't fill wrong fields on the form trying to populate. So what I'm saying is, if we have multiple elements matching the data concept, do not do anything. Do not touch any of the fields. Whereas symptoms, you will not have multiple group. You will have only one group with multiple answers.
Yeah.
That's a different thing that we are handling it. Like that will definitely work even if we change the name.
Yeah.
So should we, from an action item standpoint, should we say, Prasanna, you're gonna make those changes and then we can see if that works?
Martin, I think some help from the form designing people, whoever is designing, because I was thinking again, I do not have context on this forms exactly. Like I do not have the business context of, can I change the concept name? Can I change this one, that one?
Yeah, we are the ones. I mean, if it's really something that won't be saved, won't affect how things are saved back on the server, the people who are going to make that decision is the people on this call, and so.
Yeah, I can help out the form designing. Who will do it? Probably Manu and Regan. We can talk about this. The fix should be pretty straightforward, I think.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, definitely it's a straightforward fix. But what I'm saying is, it's more of understanding how this engine works, right? Like, just correct me if I'm wrong. Like, if you could able to understand how this parsing engine works, like how it parses and reparses things, if you could able to understand that, all these things will definitely be a quick fix, quick win. And even in future, I think this is very important for you people, whoever is designing the form, has to understand this parsing technique.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, and that's where documentation comes in, because most people won't be sitting in the same place.
Yeah.
Okay, so Win, are you saying you guys will take that up, or do you want to help Prasanna understand so that when he makes the changes, he's giving a form that has all those fixes?
I think I can take this one up. Who in the Kenyan side will talk with me, because we need to make sure that we are on the same page when we need to design more form in the future. Manu or Regan, or both?
Yeah, I think we can do that, Win.
Okay. Cool.
Well, just let me know if you're facing some problem, okay? I mean, like, I'm totally happy in changing this also. It's not a very big deal, but I'm purposefully not doing it because I want some of you guys to learn how this for parsing works, so that in future it's going to be convenient for you people to design the form.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can have a separate call discussing about the parsing technique, Prasanna, because
Yeah, maybe I also need some refresher because I'm totally lost now. But
yeah.
this problem I remember, so I could able to catch it quickly. But definitely we can have a call about, or at least I'll try to do my best in getting an email or something like that.
Yeah.
Going through this, maybe we both can also have a call so that you can communicate that with others. Since we had a lot of discussion about how this parsing worked when you were in South Africa. So most of the things will be in lines of those discussion. Of course, we handled more edge cases than we thought about.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Maybe I'll think about how we can have this
Yeah, I think
conversation.
it would be good to know, like, what are the function of each JavaScript. Like, we have we have a lot of JavaScript inside the form, and I think it will be good to go through it in a call. And
So we shouldn't worry about the JavaScript inside the form. Okay, I mean JavaScript inside the form are only for the skip logic.
oh, okay.
Okay, so it's all very simple, straightforward skip logic. It's all show hide stuff. The
Oh,
parsing logic will be in mUzima.js. Okay.
oh, okay.
Okay, and there is one mUzima.js is the only file which is very generic, which contains all this parsing logic.
Yep. Yeah, I thought
Okay.
it's inside the form itself.
So all the JavaScript inside the HTML form looks complicated, but it's very, very simple. If you go through one by one, it's extremely simple show hide stuff. Only thing is we would have optimized so in order to reduce the number of lines of code, we would have kept an array, or we would have kept some kind of hash and iterate over that hash and do the show or hide stuff. All the method just to do this hide and show thing inside the form. Inside the JavaScripts inside the form are only for skip logics.
So if I heard correctly, so the action item there is that there'll be another conversation around just helping the team to better understand the parsing side of things. After the
Yes,
I'm just trying to
yes,
get the action items because Ed is not here.
Yeah, I think I have to figure out a time for this one, but I'm not so sure when I can do it. I'll definitely get back to you.
Okay, thanks, Prasanna.
Because this one I wrote entire course. I don't think even Tibo can help us, so only I can come and help you guys in this. Yeah, I'll definitely figure out some way. In the worst case, I will try to do my best in letting know what's happening where, and give a good breakup of this mUzima.js function. Yeah, so that we can at least go through it and then see what's happening.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, great.
On to the next one.
Okay. I don't know if you can still see my screen.
Yes, I can see.
Oh. So we are the observation tab. So from here, if I do a logout, see that will bring me to the login page. But if I press on the back button, you see I'm back to the patient's list.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to get past it.
So did you get that?
Yeah. No, no, I'll take a look into this one. No problem.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it, Manu. What was it? I'm sorry, I was
Okay. So
typing.
Win, if you go to like on the clients list, then it may be on one client and probably go to observations. So you'll have the list of observations. If you log out at this section, you'll come to the login page. But if you press the back button, you'll go back to the page, the clients list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, so that's
Prasanna, could I ask a question?
Sure.
How exactly does mUzima monitor that somebody is logged in, or how does it monitor when somebody logs out? I mean, just the general concept.
I didn't get it totally, but so what do you mean by monitor? I'm not getting that. Raven?
Yeah, sorry, no, I don't know if you got my question. I was just asking, just on a high
Yeah.
level,
So we
did
generally
you
keep a session. Yeah, we keep a session. That's how we track it. So, but the problem here is, so Android has its own activity stack, right? So
yeah.
that keeps the history of it. So we have to clear the history whenever we log out. The problem is generally we log out and whenever we log in, log out. We should make sure our history is clear. Looks like that is not happening in this case alone. Generally, I have added a code for it, so it shouldn't be happening in all the places, but maybe this place is being missed out. I'll see that. That's what I'm saying. So if you see this flags, right? If you see my code,
Yeah.
I'm adding a couple of tasks here. So clear top and new task. Basically, these should clear the history.
Yeah.
Whatever you see there is actually the history of the activity that Android stores by itself. So we should generally clear the history.
Yeah.
For some reason, that is not working in that case.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, fine. So you have to add this flag everywhere where the logout command is issued, right? That's what you're doing right now.
Yeah, for some reason we're doing it during the login activity. I'll see what, I don't remember why exactly, but we're doing it during the part of our login. We make sure we start fresh. But I'll check it out exactly. I'm not clear about this one.
Yeah, I think by clearing the activity stack, um, it should disable the back button for the logout.
Mm.
Yeah. it should remove it from the stack.
Yes.
It's there in many places. Maybe we missed out in one place. I'll check it out. Regan, this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the next thing is probably on preserving state of the application. So ideally, we like have a scenario where maybe a provider is using a phone, and then there is an interrupt to the application. So they lose the state of that application. So let's say, for example, they are filling a form. So I'll still open the dispensary form. And let's say you are filling this form, and for some reason maybe a call comes in if you are using a phone or anything, and temporarily the application goes to the background. So when you reopen this application, you lose the state of that form.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I mentioned about this a while ago, Chief. I think we need to have like some sort of timeout, and then in the timeout process, you call the safest drop function. I think we were going to ask .work to add this function. I don't know if you remember this.
Okay.
Yeah, we had this discussion with Ada and Martin and Sam. We originally want to add this function because I think in the background we need to have, like, I don't know, every 10 second or 15 second you execute the safest drop to make sure that we don't really lose the entire form state when you go back to the application.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think that should help, Manu.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that would really help, because the providers might lose a whole lot of form that they've been working on if they go to the background for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next item, ideally, maybe you'd also help me to understand the workflow for this, because if you come to the settings.
Manu, before you go to the next one, can you just understand how much work would that be to have the save as draft functionality? This is more to Prasanna. Just, I'm trying to get a sense for myself, or even Win.
Martin, I'm not so sure about the estimate right now, because I'm kind of lost my touch in the context of it. I need to go and look back, and then maybe I'll send you to as part of an email or something.
Yeah, and that would help Prasanna, just because we've had separate conversations with Taran about the remaining work, and if it can fall within the scope, great. If it doesn't, then we just have to figure something out ourselves. Sure. So it would really just help to get a sense of what it is to do that. Thanks.
Sure, Martin. Because it's been like 3 months, 2 months, more than 3 months. I don't know where exactly the code is. I want to take some time in going through it and get back to it. And yeah, I'll drop an email on those things.
Thanks.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, so if maybe we could go to the next, and this is on the settings page where we have the add cohort prefix. So I just wanted to know if this is implemented already, because I was trying to like filter cohorts by setting the prefixes and to restrict the downloads, but it seems not working. So I just wanted to know maybe the workflow, maybe I could be missing something on that.
My understanding is if you add a prefix here, it will not show in the all cohorts page. I mean, if you restrict it, it will not show that in all cohorts page. I'm not so sure because we tried to change this flow in the wizard, right? Like, so this was the first step in the wizard, and then we removed that from the wizard and all this. Maybe give a try. Just add a prefix here and go to the all cohorts page, and you should not see the other cohorts without this prefix.
So if I add maybe a prefix like CDM,
Okay.
and add that. So if I go back to the cohorts, so if I come to the all cohorts and refresh, so you see I still see the whole list of cohorts. There are no restrictions.
I'm not so sure about how whether it's working or not. I can see because we remember removing this functionality from wizard, and I don't know where it is. It's going to currently exist.
Yeah, I think originally the idea was the prefix will narrow down the download. So when you say CDM, that will only download cohort with the name starting with CDM. I think that was the original intention because we don't want to download the full set of cohorts. So we try to narrow it down to only cohort that we're actually interested in. Is it implemented, Prasanna, in the download?
I'm not so sure. My understanding was it should not show here in this page. I need to check it out again because so I don't know whether they removed everything or I'll get back to the view of this one now. But so it should not be as part of wizard, right? So we removed it from the wizard. I remember that. I forgot whether did we remove the entire functionality of prefix itself, or did we remove only from page?
I think it should be narrowing down the download, Prasanna.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? Like you click on, but we have all, right? So he has added CDM now. But
Yeah.
what should be downloaded?
It should be downloading only. It should only down. So the initial download for cohort is just cohort name and description. So when you prefix.
Oh yes, I got it. Yes, I got it. I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
So Vin is correct. So that's how the implementation is. I remember. So this list is already be downloaded.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you're showing all of them. Whereas
on the next download, it's gonna.
Yeah, on the next download, you will not able to see anything apart from CDM.
So the next download exactly, what do you mean by that? I think I lost you there.
When you do a sync, right, it actually downloads all the cohort names. So that will not download anything apart from that has prefix CDM. If you create a, let's try maybe create a cohort with the name something new, some new name without containing CDM, and if you press on the sync button, at the top, it will not appear in this page.
But if you put a CDM
so this would mean that.
Go ahead, Manu.
I was wondering, like, so whenever.
So for all this,
whenever you download the list, so you'll get like what was there initial.
So the list that you that you see here in the all is all cohort that you already download. So the all part will list out all the name and description of the cohort that already downloaded to your device. So if now you restrict it by the prefix, on the subsequent refresh, I think it will only download cohort with the name prefixed by whatever prefix you put in the setting. So you already
Yeah, because
have this, yeah. So
okay.
in the server,
What
if
I
you
was
create a new cohort without that prefix, you won't see it. But if you add a cohort with this prefix, it will download the data. I think that's how it should be implemented.
okay. So this only affects the new cohorts that are created on the server.
The new download.
Okay, I guess that's where I'm not understanding. So if you say the new download, if I go to the settings page and then create a prefix to filter and then come back to the cohorts and refresh. So the list that would be there would be the list ahead initially, or I'll get a new list depending on the prefix.
So Manu, how this works is in the wizard, right? Initially we were having this prefix, cohort prefix, so that the user will enter the cohort prefix, and when we download the cohort list for the first time, it will download the cohorts that matches the prefix. But what happened is, since because of a usability issue, we removed that cohort prefix from the first step, like the wizard step. So what has happened is, it has downloaded all the cohorts at that time in the server. Okay. Further, if you add a prefix, and all the further downloads will be restricted to that prefix. So we in fact thought of removing this entire functionality, but we went ahead with the route of just removing it from the wizard step. Are you with me?
Yeah.
First,
So this has to happen from the start.
We removed it intentionally because of the usability issue, Manu. So first time we download all the cohorts that are there in the server, and from next time we are doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's just that I think even from a usability perspective, Prasanna, it can be a little confusing. I think our assumption, I think most people's assumption will be that once you put in the prefix, it will filter what you can see from the server. So this may be a little confusing. But that said, we have understood the angle. I mean, the reason why you removed that functionality, or we have understood the modification. We're just saying that it could be a little confusing for first-time users.
Yeah, maybe it will be a new functionality to just either make sure you show, even while showing, we should make sure the prefix is applied. That's definitely a new one that we have to write. I mean, there's no code for it technically. We have to write the code for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my sense of that is that it's a little bit more of a feature kind of preference, and so something that should go in the roadmap and should not be something that stops us right now from moving forward. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It definitely is not a deal breaker. All we're just saying is that it can be a little confusing, but it's not something. It's not certainly it's not something to prevent you from using it.
Yeah. And so, again, just for context, and you guys are aware of this, we're primarily trying to focus on the bug fixes, not adding or changing new functionality unless the functionalities are so such showstoppers, in which case we can figure out what we need to do. Okay.
Guys, just a quick time check. I have only another 10 minutes because I have a flight to catch up at 7:30. Currently 6:50. Another 10 minutes.
Sorry, we passed our time.
Sorry?
Yeah, we passed our time already. Yeah. Go ahead. 10 minutes.
Maybe we can do it for another 10 minutes. I'm okay because I have another half an hour to catch it up. I can go there by 7:30. So just checking that. So we have another 10 minutes.
Yeah, Manu, I think
Okay.
next one. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now I was saying just maybe another concern is that right now we have an issue where when you are downloading a cohort with like more than 50 patients, it's not able to download the observations. So for a small cohort, it works okay. For a larger cohort like 50 and above, you on the observations.
I think this is because we don't have an API for aggregated one. We currently download per patient twice. So if you get a server-side API for aggregated one-shot, right? We don't want to make multiple calls to the server. So currently, Android application makes for observation we have to make different calls. So we do not have an aggregated API for this. I remember we had an email conversation and we put that one as a roadmap. One of the functionality in the roadmap. I can dig those emails. So the need of an aggregated API is a problem here. Vin, are you with me?
Yeah.
Well, so let me just hear this correctly. You guys are saying that we cannot download more than 50 individuals. Like basically, the application will break if you have more than 50 people in the cohort, which means practically we can't use it.
This is a one-time, Martin. Maybe like in a single shot, application can't able to make more than 50 HTTP requests to the server.
Yeah, which means no. Reality-wise, I'm just kind of looking at it from our standpoint. So reality-wise, given that our application, our cohorts will have more than 50 people quite a number of times. Actually, it's almost most of the cases will have more than 50 people. And the application, you can't do more than 50 people. Does it mean you can't use the application then?
I think we had a functionality to download per patient. That will definitely work. The only thing is, as a cohort, it may not work in a single shot. But updating the patient-wise observation will work. So it's not like a total crash in the save, but if you download per patient, it's gonna work for observation.
Well, but I mean, aren't we working in a world of cohorts? I'm just trying to understand here. I mean, we have several people on this call who understand the implications a little bit better than me. But no, does that mean we won't be able to use the application for most of our use cases? I'm asking the guys in Kenya, and I'm asking Win.
This is like really. I'm not sure why it's preventing the observation. I mean, it's just we have the call to get the observation being called after the patient is returned, right? I will look into this, like what's causing this issue, because it really doesn't make sense to me. Like, you can download the patient and then you cannot download the cohort, the observation.
No, given that person has to go, do you guys potentially want to arrange for another call to finish off this conversation and any of the other stuff? I just don't want to leave it till 9:30 and then you're like, well, what's the next step for moving the conversation forward?
I will arrange so that's all, I think.
I think so, but perhaps I think we only had 2 more, and they were really minor. I think maybe we could just mention them and then have a little discussion, which may not be necessary.
Okay.
I think the first was when you're on the login page on small devices, on normal phones, 4-inch, normal smartphones. The keyboard, the virtual keyboard, covers some of the input fields. It makes it very difficult to enter. Like to enter the password. Once you've entered the username, it's difficult to enter the password. You have to dismiss the keyboard and then bring it up again by selecting the password input field. So that was one. And then the second was the dashboard. So the dashboard has 3 buttons: cohorts, observations, cohorts, clients, and forms. So it looks nice in portrait, but on a phone, when you turn it to landscape, and some people may do that because when they turn it to landscape, everything is bigger, so it's a bit more usable. But when you turn it to landscape, one of the buttons, the forms buttons, falls below screen, and you can't scroll to it. There isn't a scroll view or anything. So
you're saying the scroll is not working?
No. There isn't actually a scroll view. So I think I guess you can see the screen, right? You can see it right now.
Yes.
So you can see the three cohorts, clients, and forms.
Yes.
So this is nice. We are trying this out on an Nexus tablet, but most of the devices that mUzima will be running on are small phones, like 4-inch devices.
Yes.
So on 4-inch device, the last button, the forms button, the one that's on the right, falls out of screen.
Yes, but does
like
it is it scrollable? The screen is scrollable, right?
No, it's not scrollable. It doesn't have a scroll view.
Yeah, fine. Definitely, we can fix this. This might be a very minor issue or something. You're saying the screen is not scrollable.
It's not scrollable. And with the forms button below screen, it means you can't use that. You can't use the forms button if you have the phone in landscape.
This is also a more of a usability issue. I'll see. Maybe if I have time.
Yeah, it's not scrollable. Yeah, that's what I mean. So, like I said, I think some of the people using the application would probably want to use the app in landscape mode because everything is a little bigger. So for them, that might be a slight issue.
Okay. Prasanna, can you look into this last two?
Yeah, I can make this scrollable. It's not a problem.
All right. I think we passed our time, and it's 9:30 already here. So I think I will arrange another call. I will send out suggestion of time, and you can see what day you guys are available next week. I can arrange the time again.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you on cyberspace.
Yeah, thank you.
Very helpful.
Prasanna, yeah, it's gone. Yeah, so guys, Amanu said that was awesome. Yeah. And you guys obviously put in a good chunk of time making sure that the testing and all that stuff was done very thoroughly. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, take care, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.